Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my podcast. This is Dara, and I am your host. If you have been following me already, I really appreciate your dedication for listening to my channel. I wanted to make sure that I let you know at the very beginning of the podcast that we have chosen to create a new name for the podcast. It's called Design to Win, Ripple to Wave. I know it's not much of a change, but I didn't want you to get on there and couldn't find us. So we are making the change just because we want to move forward with the vision that we have for this channel and what God has called me to do. And so now we are coming about with on the YouTube channel to start doing videos and content with that. And so we wanted to make everything very cohesive. And that's what brought about the name change. So just wanted to make sure everybody knew that. And if you are new to the channel, I am so glad that you came to listen today. I want you to know that this is a place where we believe you were created on purpose, with purpose, and for purpose to make a ripple or a wave of impact in others' lives. And with all that being said, let's get started today. I was recently listening to a pastor on the Victory Channel. He shared a story that stopped me literally in my tracks. He talked about being a college student and getting invited to an outdoor prayer meeting. He was telling a story about how he didn't grow up in church. He didn't know God, but he went anyway. Why? Because there was free food. What college student wouldn't do that? Typical starving college student, right? But that day, he didn't just get a meal for his stomach. He got word for his soul. He left that prayer meeting full, physically and spiritually. He shared something that hit me deep inside. For so long, he had felt a constant, quiet ache inside, a sense of never being enough. But that night, something shifted. He realized his hunger wasn't just for food, it was a hunger for meaning, for more, for purpose. And that story made me think about this generation. Our kids, our students, our young adults, they are hungry too. It just hit me so hard to think about that. But they're not just hungry for grades or graduation. They're hungry to be seen, to be heard, to be valued, to know they are enough. And we are missing it and missing it big time. We have spent years making sure our kids are in school, but we have failed to ask what's actually happening inside our schools. Are we raising thinkers, dreamers, world changers? Or are we just pushing them through a system that's starving them of creativity, connection, and purpose? I have wondered this for years. After 25 years in the public school education and one-on-one work with students, I can say this with love and urgency. We have missed the mark and we've missed it big time. More and more, I have seen students who can't focus, can't motivate themselves, can't even organize a single thought on a piece of paper. They're anxious, they're overwhelmed, paralyzed by procrastination, and lacking the critical skills to solve problems or speak their truth with grace. They don't know how to cope, and tragically, many have lost hope. In the last 4 years, I've worked closely with kids from as young as 9 years old up to adults of 35. And you know what I've discovered? They're not distracted like we think that they are, and we say they are because of all the connections with the internet and technology and yada, yada. They're starving. They're starving for hope. They're starving for identity. They're starving to believe that they matter. This hunger starts early. It starts in preschool and kindergarten, believe it or not. When imaginations are vivid, dreams are wild, and the wonder of learning is still alive. But somewhere along the way, the system begins to stifle them. We stop feeding that fire. We start measuring worth by numbers, by test scores, and fitting into the educational box. And in doing so, we have overlooked the most important truth. Every child is uniquely designed by God. They're designed with gifts, with talents, and with purpose. They're not meant to fit inside of a box. They were meant to build new ones. Amen. But as adults, parents, teachers, mentors, we've been so focused on performance, stats, and standards to stop and say, who are you becoming? What makes you come alive? What gifts has God placed inside your heart? What do you want to do with your life? What dreams do you have? How do you want to get there? They are so hungry to grow, hungry to learn, to discover their gifts, to be equipped and empowered. And most of all, they are hungry for God. They want to know, do I matter? Do I have a purpose? Can I become more than life has told me that I am? That the parents, teachers, mentors around me are telling me that I can? Well, I can tell you the answer is yes. Yes, they can. They do matter. They do have a purpose. They can do more than what life has told them they are. This is what I have dedicated my life to doing. Helping students and adults alike discover their learning differences aren't limitations. That their brains, their wiring, their fingerprints are all part of the divine design of who they are, who God created them to be. Maybe you have dyslexia, ADHD, autism. Maybe traditional learning doesn't make sense to you. But you know what? That's okay. Because God didn't make you wrong. He made you different for a reason. He made all of us different for a reason. You see, you see things different. You feel things more deeply. You process the world in ways that may not fit into a system, but you are perfectly designed for your calling. And that's what I tell the young people I work with and the adults I work with. You just need the right tools. You need the right resources and a mindset rooted with truth that God made you who you are for a special purpose. Maybe it's to work with others who have ADHD or dyslexia or autism, whatever it may be. There is a reason your brain processes the way it does. You're created to see things differently. There is someone out there waiting on the other side of your obedience, waiting for you to walk in the gifts and the talents God gave you, especially for you. Your thumbprint is unlike anyone else's. You have something I don't have. You have something your mom, your dad, your siblings, your teachers, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, even the person that sits next to you in a classroom doesn't have it. We all carry a unique imprint for a unique purpose. And here's the really beautiful part. That uniqueness is how the ripple becomes a wave. When we walk in our purpose, it sets off a chain reaction, a movement, a wave of hope, healing, innovation, and purpose. And that's something that we need to work on in our school systems. We need to work on in our homes. We need to work on lifting each other up. We need to work on teaching our kids that they have value, they have purpose. And when we teach them in the school systems, that we lift up their gifts and their talents and the things that they can do well and their strengths and what they can do instead of focusing on what they can't do or telling them that the dreams and the hopes and the imaginations that they have and the creativity they have to limit it to the inside of a box and telling them, no, you can't do that. No one ever has done that. You come from this background or that background, and this is the only thing that you can ever do. Don't dream that big. That's what stifles people. And when we criticize and we judge, that's what stifles. And it doesn't feed the hunger. It only makes the hunger worse. And it makes the hunger actually die from starvation. So instead of starving our kids, we need to start uplifting them and finding ways to create that hope and that innovation in them, their uniqueness, bringing it out in them, so that the world around them who is waiting for their opportunity to create a ripple to a wave in life and in the world they live in, so that we're not letting them starve anymore and that we're feeding them the truth and life and the design that they were created to be. Let's remember to remind them and ourselves that we were all created and designed to win in life, to have a life with hope, filled with happiness, and that there's somebody out there that's waiting on the other side of the obedience of using our gifts and talents for somebody else. I'm so glad that you joined me today. I know this is a short episode today, but I hope that this episode has inspired you. Please share it because your one act of service could spark the next ripple in somebody else's life. And that ripple, it might become a wave of healing or purpose and victory, even around the world. You never know. Please don't forget to subscribe. Leave a review. Connect with me. You can connect with me on the new YouTube channel. And the handle is at Dara Lee, or on my website, daralee.com, or my Instagram channel, Dara_Lee. Until next time, keep creating the wave for helping someone to walk in their win. And I hope that you have a blessed and wonderful week.